Electric Fire Book 2 Hidden Chains Chapter 30.
Amy and I stayed outside, watching from the window. After our last encounter with the human, we were both pretty afraid of them. I wanted to go in and rescue Sonic, but two humans appeared, both rushed to the table where Sonic's friend was, the one he had tried to save. Both humans looked concerned. Then me and Amy heard something bark, and then ran towards us. We made a run for it.
Sonic's point of view.
Me and Tom stayed back as Maddie examined Shadow. She checked for broken bones and also checked Shadow's pulse. She was a vet, but she didn't exactly know what she was looking at. Seems my body type was similar to a human rather than an earth hedgehog.
He just appears to be really banged up. I don't think has anything broken. His pulse is fast, but seems that it's normal for you and him, Sonic.
Maddie felt bad. She couldn't home much. She turned to Shadow. Maddie felt bad. She couldn't home much. She turned Shadow to the side to check for any injuries she may have missed, but found nothing, other than some burn marks and some scrapes and scratches. Nothing major. She flipped him back over so he was facing the ceiling. Then Maddie felt Shadow's forehead. Then his ears. His ears were hot, showing he had a fever.
Did you still have those salts?
Yes, but I think Shadow needs rest. I don't think using the salt would be a good idea. Also remember when Sonic reacted to them? Also, he appears to be in a much rougher shape than when I first met our blue space hedgehog.
Maddie then put a hand on my shoulder. I felt bad I couldn't protect him. Tom nodded, then picked up Shadow carefully and then placed him on the couch before fetching a blanket for him. Ozzy then came back inside the house as Tom covered Shadow with the blanket. I stayed with Maddie in the kitchen as Ozzy lay down on the ground beside Shadow. His left arm hung off the couch a bit. Ozzy licked his hand before laying his head down on his paws. Maddie got a washcloth and put it under cold water before tugging it to her, most of the water out. She went to Shadow and put it on his forehead. I watched curiously. I wasn't sure if it would help or not. I spent the night in the living room. Knuckles and Amy came inside the house after Tom and Maddie went to bed. Seems they didn't trust people much. Not that I blamed them. I used to stay hidden. No one but Carl knew of my existence. It was a lonely life, but at least Knuckles had a friend with him. Back then, I only had myself. I fell asleep beside the couch when I felt tired. I wanted to be there when Shadow wakes up. I wanted to know that he was going to be okay after all. He is my best hedgehog friend. I was still getting to know Amy at the moment, so we weren't exactly friends yet. I curled up and fell asleep on the floor. I didn't mind it much. Before I had gotten the stuff in my cave, I made a nest out of leaves to sleep in. I hated the crunch noise they made, so I ended up sleeping in the dirt, then in tree roots that were in the cave. I had made then to my beanbag chair. Found it outside one day with the sign that said free. That's how I got most of my stuff though. I found some actually in the trash. But you know what they say, another man's trash is another man's treasure.
Shadow's point of view.
My body ached. No energy left. I looked up to see Sonic a couple feet from me, lying beside the robot that the commander was in. Everything was foggy, though a mist had blown in the room somehow. Sonic looked back at me weakly, but then ran over, but not a word was spoken between us. I watched him, but he didn't seem to notice I was awake. The robot had fallen. We won the fight, it seemed, but then everything went dark. I was back at the Ark again. Sonic and the robot were gone. Here I was, staring out the window at Earth, along with space. Then I saw her, Maria's reflection in the window, along with Gerald. I could feel the hate in his eyes from the reflection. I turned around to face them. Just as I had, Maria ran to me and gave me a hug before whispering,
Shadow, I'm so proud of you. But it isn't your time yet. Sonic needs you.
I looked at her confused, but then again, part of me understood. I didn't want to leave him. Seems this was only a dream, yet this felt so real. Jill just stared at me. I hugged Maria, wishing this moment would last. But then everything vanished. I was waking up. Light hit me. It was sunlight. I turned over onto my side, instantly regretting it. My body was so sore, moving was difficult, and I had moved a bit too quickly, which caused me to gasp before wincing. A cloth slipped off my head and onto Ozzy, who got up quickly, giving a short bark in surprise. The cloth was on the floor. Then a noise came from behind the couch. It caught my attention. My energy was still somewhat low, but I was on alert, too sore to get up or move to see what caused the noise, but seemed I didn't need to, since it got out from behind and took a seat on the couch beside me. I didn't take up the whole couch, but I was glad to see who had just taken a seat beside me. It was none other than Sonic. He seemed glad to see me as well. This is kind of embarrassing, but I admit I grinned rather than smirked. Guess I still have a few emotions left over, other than frowning and smirking now. And then emotions are a powerful thing. Really not exactly easy to control sometimes. They can get the best of you. I still had a feeling of energy loss, though my injuries were healed by now, and my inhibitors were on my wrists. Guess I still needed time to recover. I sat up. Once I did, Sonic got up and put his arms around me, giving me a tight embrace. I gratefully returned it, but not as tight. Then I felt something drip onto my shoulder. Then I heard Sonic sobbing. He was crying. Dread came over me after hearing him sob. Was this what it was like when he thought he lost me the first time? I wondered as I patted him on the back to try and comfort him. It's all right, I'm okay, Sonic. He didn't reply. He just hugged me. It took a while until he calmed down. I wasn't sure if I was going to have a life now, since for as long as I live, I felt Gaiden would be after me. Same for Robotnik going after Sonic. But it didn't seem to bother Sonic. It didn't seem to bother Tom and Maddie. If I stayed. Sonic didn't seem to mind either, so I guess I'm here to stay for now. I could probably stay on the Ark, but with Gun around, it probably would be best to stay here with Tom and Maddie. Besides, Sonic needs me, so I guess I'm here to stay. I finally found a place where I feel I belong. Was this what Sonic felt before? I wondered before that thought slipped past my mind.